Do you know the accurate way to transfer your pattern to your fabric for a perfect fit outfit? Okay, so in this video, we're going to be treating that in details. Okay, so to transfer your patterns to your fabric, the first thing you need to do is to transfer to your lining or your interfacing if you're working with a lace fabric. Okay, now you go ahead and fold your lining or your fashion fabric into two. Okay, now we'll begin placement of the patterns. So we're starting with the center back. Okay, and we need to add 1 inch zip allowance or ½ inch if that's the allowance you want to add. Okay, but before you go ahead and place your patterns, you need to pin down the lining. Okay, so I have done that. Now I'll leave a space of about 1 inch or 1½ from the folded end of the lining, and I'll pin down the center back. Okay, now I'm done with it, so I'll go ahead and pin the side back pattern as well. But as usual, you need to pin down your lining. Okay, now this is to ensure that the pattern does not shift and you get your sewing allowances correct. Okay, so I'm done pinning the lining together. Now I'll go ahead and pin the side back pattern down. All right, and here it is, we are done. So this is the center front pattern. Okay, now the center front needs to be placed on the folded part. Okay, so I'll bring it to the folded part of the lining and I'll pin it down. So I'll go ahead and pin this down. Now remember that there is nothing like too much pins. The more you pin, the better, so you're sure that your lining or your fabric is in place. So I'm done pinning down the center front. Now this is the side front piece as well. Okay, so this is side front pattern. I will also pin down the lining first before I'll go ahead and pin down the pattern to the lining. Now, I'd like us to take note of the spaces I'm leaving in between the patterns. Okay, that's because we need to add the allowances. All right, so I'll go ahead and pin down the side front to the lining using my pins. Okay, and here we have it. Now it's time for us to start adding the allowances. So we'll begin with the center back. Okay, now the first thing you need to do is to come in with your ruler and extend the lines. Okay, so I'm extending the waistline and the neck depth line as well. So I'm adding my 1 inch zip allowance to the center back line. Okay, and here we have it. Now I'll also come in with my ruler and I'll connect that. Okay, and this is it. So the next thing we need to do is to come in with my tape and I'll start adding the ½ inch sewing allowance to the neck depth. Okay, so I'll add that. I'll also use my ruler to connect it. Now note that you can use your free hand, but it's best to use your ruler. So I will just go ahead and add ½ inch round the center back pattern. Okay, so I'm also adding my ½ inch to the shoulder as well. All right, once I'm done, I'll connect it as well using my ruler. But the very first thing you need to do is to go ahead and extend your lines. Now the essence of this extension is to guide you with the points, okay, the curve areas. Now I just extended around the arm side as well. Okay, so I'll continue adding ½ inch around this center back pattern. Okay, okay, now I'll go ahead and add ½ inch to the waistline. Okay, this is for the joining to the flare. Okay, so and I also use my ruler to connect it. Now go ahead and extend your lines down to the waistline. All right, and here we have it for the center back. Now use your chalk to just smoothen your lines. Okay, and this is it for the center back. Now let's proceed to the side back pattern piece. Okay, and as usual, we'll extend our lines, the waistline and the chest line. Okay, now we will start by adding our sewing allowance. So from the side, I'm adding 2 inches sewing allowance. Now if your sewing allowance is 1.5 or 1 inch, just go ahead and add it to the side back. Okay, and then you use your ruler to connect that point as well. Now I'll go ahead and add ½ inch to the waistline as well. Okay, and I'll connect that. Now to the rest of the pattern, we're adding ½ inch all round. right, and here we have it. We're done adding our allowances to the center back and the side back patterns. All right, so let's move over to the center front and the side front. So we're only adding allowance to the neckline and the sides. Then we'll also add 1/2 inch to the waistline of the center front. Now for the side, we'll add our 2 inches sewing allowance to the side and then 1/2 inch all around. All right, and here we have it. Now we're done adding all the allowances. Okay, so you can see the way I extended all the points using my ruler. Now this is very important because it will guide you to ensure that all your patterns are equal at the end. Okay, you don't want one part being longer or shorter than the other, especially the side front and the side back pattern pieces. All right, so and here we have it. Now we'll proceed to cut, but pay attention to the center front because it was placed on the folded side of the lining. Okay, and here we have it. Now I'll proceed to cut this pattern out. Alright, and here we have it. Our pattern set is ready. Now I'll go ahead and extend the underbust line, okay, and I'll give it a notch. I will align that with the side back as well, and I will indicate that point. Now this will be useful to you when it's time for you to do your final shaping. Okay, and here we have it. So I'll go ahead and transfer this to my fashion fabric, and that will be it. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, kindly give me a thumbs up. Bye.